The microphone arm is kind of blocking it, but the good people at Neewer have sent me a replacement green screen. They reached out, adjusting the camera there. They reached out after my initial review and said that that's not a normal representation of their product, and they want to make sure I get the best possible product. So FedEx just dropped that off today. That's actually a significantly larger box than the one my first one came in via UPS. So that's a little curious that the shipping method is different. So I'm quite interested to see if the new version of the Neewer green screen, if it survived the trip, if it doesn't fall apart on me after I leave it standing up for 20 minutes. And I'm going to finish my veggie breakfast and finish watching a video essay, and we're going to check it out. So it's in the same box as the first one I got, just in another box. Okay? We have green screen. So the one that they sent me, as you can see, is not necessarily a complete pile of garbage. For full disclosure, for those who didn't see it in the last video, I previously reviewed the Neewer green screen, and the whole thing fell apart on me, and it didn't seem like it was damaged in shipping. It just seemed like it was built very poorly. And I immediately filed a return on Amazon, and even though it took up my entire car, took it to UPS and dropped that bad boy back off to be returned for a refund. But Neewer actually reached out first on my Amazon review, which I received 0 notification of, and then later via email a couple times. Neewer reached out and wanted to make it right, since I clearly received a very poor quality product, and sent me a new one. Now, I accepted it honestly assuming that similar things would happen, and to a degree, the same issues are there. There's still low quality parts used here. There's still the major issue of the curve on the green screen on both sides. It wraps in, which is going to be a big problem in the long term, and in terms of proper green screen lighting, is actually going to be a problem for like wrinkles and shadows and things like that. So it's not great, and half the time it doesn't want to close right, and whenever the fabric wraps up, it progressively like goes in one direction, which isn't good because eventually it may not shut right. But the core functionality is still technically working there, so that's kind of cool. It still doesn't stop wherever you want, like the manual inside the product thing said. It still just kind of goes all the way up on its own, and there's no stopping it. It's very, very loud compared to the Elgato green screen, and it tends to lean back or forward a whole heck of a lot, which is unfortunate. So still lower quality parts, still eventually going to risk falling apart, and for whatever reason, I think the material is thinner than the green screen, because you can see the little diamond shape of the crossbars behind me, which is going to show up in chroma keying. Now, I have turned off all of my backlighting, other than the main window that's back there that you're used to seeing. If I turn on my lights, and keep in mind, that's not the ceiling fan that's above me, that's 50 feet in the background, just a couple China ball softball lights. So they're not even super bright. They don't usually light anything this direction, yet that's enough to make that shine completely through. So it's still not a great green screen, and with the whole problem with this whole style of green screen in the first place, the Elgato one included, is in order to get a camera angle wherein you're within the screen itself to be chroma keyed out, you have to have it super close to you, which makes it very problematic to light, especially in the target use case of a small space where you're constantly putting it up and back down. So for an actual green screen use case, it's not the best, and there's still some quality control issues. I mean, for all I know, they could have cherry-picked this one and sent me one that they knew wasn't falling apart. But the way that they send these things, they sent it directly from the Amazon shipping center, which, like, it was labeled Amazon and everything. So it wasn't them manually mailing me, like, a higher quality or higher bin one. They just put it in the back end of Amazon to ship one directly to me. So they theoretically had no direct control over that. But at the same time, it was totally fair to have expected that it show up still broken, and the components are still lower quality than the Elgato one. You know, there's still some issues. So for part 2 of this review, if you get one that's working, it'll do all right for a little bit, but I do have some concerns about the longevity of it. So I think I may put it to use whenever I need a green screen, which honestly isn't that often, and check back in at some point with how it's doing. So thank you for watching my apparent 2-part series of the Neewer green screen. If you want to buy one for yourself, you might have a better time than I have. At the same time, it's a more expensive option, so it's a little weird to go with regardless. The fact that it is clearly a knockoff, the components are lower quality, and it's more expensive is a little weird. But affiliate product links, as always, will be in the description below, as well as the part 1 video and my review of the actual Elgato green screen down there below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe for more tech education and tech content and reviews and weird stuff like this, and I will see you in the next video.